Welcome to Always Analog, where we celebrate the beauty of analog technology in the digital world. Today we're going to look at some pens, and these are all from the same manufacturer, all from Stabilo, and they are different styles, sort of pen. They are all fine points. This one is a 0.3, this 0.4, 0.5. They are all blue. And I got all of these. I bought them individually at a stationery store when I was in Paris. And so I have not spent any time with these pens as yet. And I just thought it would be fun to try them with you. And I'm going to start with the thinnest one. So this is a Stabilo Sensor. And it says here, sensor technology. Not sure what that is, but we're going to find out. On the clip at the top, it says Germany. That's where these are made. You see I don't know, maybe you probably can't because it's out of focus. There's an F there, indicating it is a fine tip. There is a product number, catalog number, product ID. Down here it says fine liner 0.3. You have on the end of the pen, you have embossed there, it's hard to see, but that's a swan. Like found here, the logo of the company. I kind of liked what drew me to this pen was sort of the thickness of it. And it's completely round, and it sort of has this area here for the grip where it's ridged, and it is a very comfortable pen to hold. The cap fits snugly. There's another swan there on the cap. The cap fits snugly on the end of the pen. And as I recall from the store, they had this in blue and black, and I don't know if it had any other color. Now, as to the sensor technology, we're going to see about that. The tip you can see is, it's almost do we call it a felt tip pen? It feels like one. I always feel like I'm going to squash these tips. It does, for someone like me who writes heavy, it does give me a little bit of a pause. It's a smooth writing pen. There is a slight drag across the paper. It's a very different feel than, say, a ballpoint, because you're really just pushing the tip across the surface of the paper. It doesn't flow in quite the same way as a ballpoint does. The ink is just getting sucked onto the paper. Okay. So there is the sensor. Nice. Again, these kind of pens tend to not last long for me in my hand. Because I either press too hard on the point. Now this one has a very similar tip. Matter of fact, it looks almost identical. So I don't know if it has the same sensor technology here, but to me that looks like the same tip. This one is the .88 fine 0.4. This one is hexagonal, like a pencil. It even has sort of the color of the pencil. Has a short cap. Let me put this cap on here. This one has a short cap on the end that coordinates with the end cap of the pen and fits right on like that. And this is a .88 0.4. It is also marked Germany. Smooth. Same tip as the sensor. It almost, in some ways, I guess they're about the same, but it almost feels a bit finer. Then we have the Stabilo Point Visco fine 0.5. Now this one has a different type of tip in comparison to these other two, as you can see, and it looks like it might have a ball point. It has a rubber grip. This almost looks like it's a plunger, but it's not. It doesn't do anything. I guess it will hold the cap. Snaps right on there. Kind of a different looking pen. It's got these indentations here, 3 of them. The rubber grip. But it definitely, the point on this is very different. So let's take a look here. This feels kind of like almost a ballpoint, but with a very thin kind of ink. Not a gel ink. See that? Not as quick drying as the others. And let me see, I'm looking for if there is any indication as to where this pen is made. If it's made in Germany like the other ones. It does not, this pen does not say. I cannot see any embossment or other sign of where it was made. It is a Rough Rider compared to the other 2 pens with the different tip. And you can see perhaps part of the reason it's so rough is because it's running out of ink. I have not used this pen. Not used any of these pens before. So this is disappointing. Yeah. Okay, the Point Visco is a no-go. And then we have these other 2. So, these German pens with kind of these felt tips. This one has a ballpoint, but it's not you know, these pens were inexpensive, and I think that's exactly what I got here. 3 cheap pens. They are in cool barrels. I mean, I love the very European. I love the design of the barrel, but I have to tell you, this one probably, the sensor probably performs the best. These aren't pens that I necessarily would use often, if at all, but I was intrigued by the tips and how they might write. So, there you have it. Are these pens that any of you are familiar with? If so, please share in the comments. I'd love to know more of these pens. So I'm glad I never regret trying things like this, but I know now that these are not instruments that I would use for my own personal style and preferences in writing instruments. But there was a lot of them in the store, so people are buying them. I'm really disappointed in the Point Visco, though, that it did not perform better. I would have liked to have been able to write with it more to get a better sense of how it performs, but it's obviously dried out. Okay, well, thank you for going through this with me. I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, share, and like if you're so inclined, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon back here on Always Analog.